Hey friends, I think we're at quorum now, so we'll go ahead and get started. Um, we'll call the meeting to order. It's 6:31. Thank you everybody for joining. Um, we're gonna do voting first, and then we'll move into any new business, and then um, Miss Gwen has some guest speakers for us this evening. So the first person that I would like for us to consider as political action chair is Ms. Shawana Bagley. Shawana comes from the West Valley branch and has pretty much already been doing policy work with and for the state. She's one of our registered lobbyists and goes to the Capitol with us and attends some of the other stakeholder meetings. Um, does anybody have questions about Shawana before I bring her in so that she can tell us about herself? Okay, hearing none, I will bring Miss Shawana in. Shawana, can you hear me?
Can.
Thank you, ma'am. I know you're not feeling too well, but I wanted to bring you in so that you could kind of introduce yourself to the team before we take a vote and share anything with us that you'd like us to know and why you want to be the policy chair.
Absolutely. Thank you. And I do wish I could turn my camera on. I'm super sorry that I can't. I'm actually quarantining so that I don't get other people sick. So thank you all for having me. As mentioned, I'm Shawana Bagley. I'll just share a little bit about me and what I'm doing and what I've done. I've got 26 years of corporate experience. And so I've done everything from account management to leading teams and call centers. In the last 6 or 7 years, really during the pandemic, I became an individual contributor. And in that space, I have done everything from getting a blank piece of paper and building out my role to now partnering with the business and determining strategy and approach, and then executing as a program manager. I have a business administration undergrad degree and a master's degree in leadership and negotiation. So that's some professional work stuff. In NAACP West Valley, I'm currently the political action chair and the third vice president, most recently supporting them through strategic work and really just kind of bringing my PM skills to the space. So working to understand each committee's plan, documenting their task deliverables, creating timelines, things like that. We've shared that with members for their feedback and their perspective, and we're doing that for a couple of reasons. We want to make sure that we're focused in the spaces that our members want us to be focused in, which I think also means that they help us to be accountable. Hopefully, we're creating a vision that is inspiring and engaging so that more folks are coming to participate, be on these committees, helping to get the work done, but then also sharing out to their friends and families and neighbors, right? And bringing them into the fold. The other thing that I hope that this helps do is further some collaboration, right? So across the branches, what is the work that we're doing and potentially being able to share some best practices and even gaps, right? We don't all have everything. It can be in a lot of different spaces. So what does it mean to share some of those gaps as well? Um, you may know that we just recently had a Capitol tour, which was fantastic. We are currently working on Advocacy 101 training. I am working with President Tyree and Representative Cruz around some mental health and substance abuse disorder policy. In the West Valley NAACP space, I've registered voters. I have done telephone and texting campaigns. I've recently learned how to do the request to speak training and actually delivered my first training to the Tucson branch. So that was really interesting and exciting. And so the reason why I want to be part of this conversation at this level, I think what I can help us do is to create and if needed, curate, right, our own information, our own political action materials, so that we are prepared and our members are prepared to show up and show out at midterms and going forward. I mentioned the Advocacy 101 training. I mentioned the request to speak, right? We can deliver our own. I'm also a registered lobbyist, and so in I'm excited to bring this piece to some of the other work that I've done in the past. I'm not sure how many people are familiar with a national organization called CEO Action for Racial Equity. But what I was doing in that space, I had a fellowship in the space for 2 years. What I was doing there was advocating in writing. The fellowship had lobbyists who would go into these spaces, into the states that we were in, and advocate, right? But my role was to do some of that research and to help to compile it into communications that could be shared out. So I am looking forward to continuing to pull through that part of the conversation. But then, what does it mean to actually be the person who is at the Capitol, right, advocating on behalf of NAACP and our members for a bill? So I'd like to see that be something that we would be able to provide. And then the other thing that I would say is, I am a student, right? I don't necessarily, you would never hear me say that I have all of the answers. I am totally open because I understand that this group also has a ton of great experience and, deep political and policy knowledge. So what I do have is a willingness to learn. You've heard me say I'm a student. I have an ability to wrap that into everything else I know, which is project management, continuous improvement. I'm a strong communicator, writing, verbal, right? I'm a leader who can also be led. And so I'm looking forward to helping this group do what it sees as the strategic priorities in the political action space.
Thank you, Ms. Shawana. And one of the things I know you didn't share, and we're still kind of working the kinks out of it, but when we were doing our Capitol tour last week, one of our representatives came over and was speaking with our interns about the process of how a bill becomes a law and what committee hearings
Mm,
look like. And they offered to um, allow us to do like mock sessions. So that'll be
yes.
something that Shawana is working on as well.
Oh gosh, just so super excited about that because listen, I have shared in these last few months just being able to go down to the Capitol and to sit in the gallery. I'm like geeking out over it. And you'd be surprised how many people have never done it. They've never had that experience at all. And so I'm looking forward to helping people to have that experience as well. Thank you for mentioning that, President Tyree.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Does anybody have questions for Miss Shawana? Okay, hearing none. Miss Shawana, I'm gonna put you back in the waiting room. We'll take our vote.
Okay,
And then once we're done, I'll probably let you back in.
thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, does anybody have feedback on Miss Shawana? Miss Nadia? No feedback? Anybody else have feedback?
It was very pleasant to work with it with the what was it, the first day of the representatives
Oh, opening day?
opening day. Yes, thank
Mm.
you. Sorry, I sound very manly today.
I
Uh,
think half the team is getting sick, so it's okay. Thank you for being here.
yes, she was just very, and it just seemed very knowledgeable, and it was just great to do a little bit of work with her and just engage in just joyful conversations with all of the information that she has. So I'm excited to hopefully bring her on.
Thank you, Miss Nadia. Thank you, Miss Gwen, for the comment. I know you're not feeling well either. Miss Fallon, did you have something you wanted to share?
I love her. I'm probably biased completely, so it's probably unfair for me to even talk about her. But I can't wait to work with her more. She's absolutely incredible. She's a leader in any space she's in. Um, I I think we need her.
Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Shannon.
I second all of that. She was a big support during my tenure as civic engagement director. So she is very passionate about the political action side of things. And everything that she just told us, she's showing how active she is and wanting to do the work. And whether we bring her on or not, she's going to do the work. So yeah, I'm very biased as well.
I appreciate that all the comments are um supportive to her. And I think, when VP Miller and I we talk about where we want to move people, my thing with Shawana is no matter what, like she is gonna pick up the train and keep driving, and she communicates all of those things. So all of the things that you guys have shared is how I feel as well. Does anybody else have comment or question before we take a vote? Okay, hearing none. Um, all those in favor of bringing Shawana in as our political action chair, please say aye or raise your hands.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. All those opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Hearing none, I will let Ms. Shawana back in. Thank you. Ms. Shawana, congratulations. Welcome to the team. And we're so, literally everybody's just singing your praises. So we're so excited to work with you.
Oh, that's so awesome. Thank you so much. And I'm looking forward to working with everybody as well.
Thank
This
you.
is
All right.
exciting.
So moving into our next vote, this year, the NAACP has, I don't know, codified the LGBTQ committee into its bylaws and constitution. And they specifically sent out an email to the state conference secretaries asking for basically for us to identify someone that we want to chair those committees. And during African American Legislative Conference Week, I was able to meet this person. They are trans, they use he, them pronouns, and they are at-large members and have been for quite some time. I think they were at-large members out of state, but have just recently moved their membership back to Arizona. So I'll bring that person in and he can share with us who he is, why he wants to be the LGBTQ committee chair, and we'll take a vote. Hi, Stan, can you hear me?
Hi.
Hello, friends.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. You have most of our EC here with us this evening, but I wanted to bring you in so that you could introduce yourself to everyone. Tell us a little bit about yourself, why the NAACP, and why the LGBTQ committee.
Okay, well, first of all, I want to say I'm happy to be here. I want to thank you, Sarah, for approaching me and bringing me to this meeting. And thank you for everyone for having me. My name is Stan Arola Johnson. I am the founder of the We Are You campaign organization, which is built to unite the LGBTQIA Black African diaspora community with our Black community to help eliminate some systemic matters within our systems, right within our own particular neighborhoods, as different neighborhoods differ. and we want to address each one and each area. So that's what brings me here. I am transgender, and I love I love who I am. Let me start there first. I love who I am. I love that I decided to, first of all, I came out as a lesbian back when I was 50, a couple of years ago. Okay, 15 years ago almost. So, uh, and then in 2020, I started taking testosterone and transitioning. I do take it at a low dose, so my transitioning has been slower than some of most. Um, I love not only being um, who I am as being transitioned, I more love myself as being Black. I couldn't imagine having been born anything else besides being Black. And I've been around a lot of white people, and just kind of share this with you. When I came out and I joined a coffee group, which is on West Phoenix and at Bitsy Mamas, and it was sort of white people, white women, a few Hispanic women here and there. Um, and so that was the community that I started in. And I was able to meet some people within our community, the Black community, that is, because after I left my work and retired, then well, friendships, people moved away, the office closed, and so I felt kind of separated from the Black community. And the only time I got to see the Black community is when I was with my family, and that was kind of sad. I was happy, the family thing was happy, we laughed all the time, but in my personal life, I was missing something. And I knew what that was coming from Cleveland, Ohio, where my neighborhood that I lived in and grew up in, and Columbus too, was a Black neighborhood. So I knew exactly what I was missing and felt that now, being who I am and living as the person of who I was always meant to be, is important for me to come forward and help our community. It's um, it's not only that. I have a vision, and this vision has been with me since I was very young, which is to come and support our community in any which way I can. And that is what I'm here to do. As far as being involved here in Phoenix in a Black community, LGBT community, has not happened until just recently. So I just want to put that out front and let you know. But in the time being, I've been learning, and that's what I do best. I learn, I stay a continuous learner, and being able to understand the communities around me, which is a lot of the white community. And I got to see how their reactions are to the Black community, which I it's something that is crazy. I just it's just crazy. I'm gonna just put it that way. And that's not everybody. However, what I find is that being within the Black community, which I am, and I feel so good. I I feel so good that lately I've been connecting with the people who think like I do, like-minded people, and to build up the communities that we're in. I mean, I can no longer sit back. I was I was brought here for this purpose that I did not know would be right now in this time. However, it is, and I am, and so therefore, I am here to live this dream, this vision. It's not a dream, it's a vision that I was given way when I was younger, as I mentioned. And that is to be here for the Black community, to stand up for our rights. To let you just a quick little backstory is that I am from Cleveland, Ohio, and I walked the walks with Martin Luther King, Jesse Jackson, and Sarah, I think I told you this story already, but Jesse Jackson and um, some other people who were leaders in the Black community, like Carl B. Stokes and Lewis Stokes, Senator Lewis Stokes, which all came from Cleveland and areas that I grew up in. And so when we had the riots there. It was scary. It was very scary. We had to get under our beds. And I woke up the next day and all my stuff was gone. The neighborhood that I knew and grew up in was not there anymore. That affected me differently from it affected my sisters and even my cousins. And really, I never understood why they weren't affected the same way I was and why they didn't want to move forward in the same way. However, I realized that some did move forward, but in different ways. So that way I can relate to. However, it's been instilled in me to go this route. My dad was a attorney, a civil rights attorney in the 60s, which was kind of like unheard of back then, that he actually started to practice in the 50s with two other people, which was one was Lynn Tolliver, who also became a senator from Ohio. So my background is exactly this. NAACP, I believe in a mission and a vision. I believe in standing up for who I am, no matter what, where I am, no matter where that is. I am here. And I won't back down. And I can't back down. I never have backed down. And even though I was not always active within the community, I was where I worked. I never let anything slide by. People talk about someone on a patio, wherever it was, I addressed those issues as occupational employee and as a manager. I addressed those issues, and that as a manager, okay, I feel like I got tricked into these situations. It's like, oh, this happened, let's go get. And my first name is Tracy. Just want to let you know. My middle name is Stan, and I go by Stan, and I'm changing it to Stan. But and they like, go get Tracy, to handle this situation. But they did, and with everything I do, I learn from every step and everything that happens in my life. Every conversation I have, I learn something from it. Even if it's a not so happy conversation, I still learn from it. And I learn what a person thinks or how they think and where they are going in their life. And they can learn where I'm headed to, whether those are in the same direction or not. I'm okay with that. However, I do want to make sure that I, I want to tell you something. I overheard this one day when I was at work. I was working at AT&T, and I overheard this as I was walking by. And it's a group of people, and they said, "She knows she's Black," and I was like, that just kind of threw me off. I was like, "What the heck?" But I kept walking, but I overheard them talking about me. And but I was okay with that. I mean, because I am, and that's what I stand for, and that's not gonna change. And I stand for everything that the NAACP stand for. So much so, I have to tell you guys this. Um, I on LinkedIn, I was on there and something was going on, and I was like, yeah, but what about the LGBT community, right? And I think this is right before the convention was coming up last year. And some people were telling me, well, we do have something with LGBT. Okay, so I'm excited now. Where is it? What is it? I go to the website and I see this picture and I see a picture, the rainbow flag and all. I'm like, okay, and then I'm looking and there's nothing there. There's no there's no content, there's no concept, there's nothing. And so I go through and I look at the amendments, I go through all of that, and I see in 2014 something was done, in 2017 another thing was done. And then I looked further on, and so I saw, Sarah, as you mentioned, that now it is actually written and not just continue amendments year after year of including the LGBT community. And I want to say I'm very happy about that and hearing that. And so I'm here and I'm very thankful. And I think this is what I'm here to do. for this organization in Arizona.
How long have you been a member of the NAACP?
And the NAACP, I just joined actually this last year. I've been involved. Oh, go ahead.
Not the one today, but I know that you and your wife had at-large memberships in another state. How long were you members there?
No, we weren't actually members in that state. We actually joined just last year. Just
Mm.
last year, actually joined, and we hit the set at large, and we hit select. So we were. That's the choices that we were given, and we weren't sure what branch that we wanted to join. We wanted to see who was in each branch, what was it about, who was doing what kind of personalities are in these branches, because that matters too. Not just that it's a branch, but that also matters. And I see Robert has his hand up.
It, can I ask a question, sir?
Oh,
Hey,
yeah.
hey, Stan. This is Robert. I'm the education chair. So, what makes you want to join the state conference and skip all the work in the local branch? What makes you want to just and what's your plan and what's your vision as a chair for a committee in the state conference?
Yes, thanks, Robert. That I actually wasn't meaning to jump, to be honest with you. But the thing is that when I usually get to an organization, no matter where it is, I am normally um, moved up in position. It just happens that I ran into Sarah and this came across, and the fact that I knew this is where I am supposed to be right now, even at this position in the state conference. Uh, how do I envision this to take place and doing it? You're in education. My wife is a educator. She's a teacher. I have a lot of teacher friends, and I also have trained myself. So I'm on a different side of the teaching. I'm on the training side of it. So I trained adults and not the children. Um,
No, I'm
where I
not talking.
work
I'm
with
not talking about with my committee. I'm saying with your committee. How do you plan to lead a committee? Do you have any thoughts or processes in place? Is anything that you've done in your background? Do you think is going to help you being the LGBTQ chair for the state conference? Do you?
Gotcha. Got you. Thank you for clarifying that. Yes. My thoughts behind running the committee for the LGBTQ is to gather in and seep into these communities and build out information. And this is what I was talking about education, Robert, is that building the information to give to it's all about resources, but it's not just resources. Everyone says that, and everyone says, well, this is how it's done. Resources are and need to be there, but there's a whole lot of ways to get that done, and dealing with the LGBTQ community overall, because we're talking about all ages, I presume. And in dealing with that, I feel that and I'm going to put this as I, will go through and address and meet people in leadership roles within the communities. And there is where that's what I've been doing. And everything I do is for the goal of the Black LGBT community, with that meaning building out resources as a matter of fact, I have been writing some notes about that, making some handheld, not these big magazines, but some handheld type information that has resources in it, not only just resources, but stories that people will know about each other. Um, Another thought in mind is that because I do like media, so I like to go out, and I know the younger generation is all into media. I've been into that since I was like 12, interested in media when I got my first Super 8 camera. And so um, with media, I plan on educating our LGBTQ community. I plan on getting out there and just being there with the community, um, and protesting, because it's all about that. You have to show up. You have to show up. I've run through some difficult years in my life, Robert, and I was not able to be there physically. And so therefore I was, on the sidelines, but never out of the picture. So Robert, my plan is to be there, show up, teach, educate the LGBT community of all ages, and build mentorships too. I
Mm.
spoke with,
Okay, Stan, I'm so sorry. I need to stop you because we have guest speakers tonight too, and so we're running a little bit long. Does anybody else have questions for Stan before we put him back into the weight room and take a vote?
Can I
Okay,
ask a question?
sure.
Just real fast? Okay. My question is for the whole group here, the state conference, and did everyone here, Robert, you brought up something important. Did everyone here actually go build up through the ranks? I know personally I've gone into positions and not having to go through the ranks, so that I'm kind of used to this, Robert. But has anyone else moved into this position where you are without going through the local ranks?
I'll go ahead and answer. I'm VP Miller. How you doing, Stan? So
Hi.
everybody that's on our EC has served in a capacity in a local branch. They have chaired also in a capacity in a local branch. So typically, the people or the individuals who are on our EC all have various experiences serving throughout the state, and then definitely in a local branch. So yes, we do. Thank you for
Thank
asking
you.
that, though.
Oh, no problem. But the most important question I have here is how do everyone here, everyone don't have to answer because it's short on time, but how does everyone here feel about the LGBTQ community? Because even though I'm here, I don't know how you all feel about it, and I would hate to step in to a position where I would get feedback just because I'm not wanted. So, and even though this is a NAACP group, like I said, I want to ask, how do you feel having me within the group? Because I'm here and I will get the work done. So how do you feel about having me here?
I'll go first again. You're not very familiar with the Arizona NAACP, and there are a lot of people from the LGBTQIA community that serve amongst us in branches and leadership. So that happens all over, and so our organization is a non-discriminatory organization, if you will, and especially in terms of those who serve in various capacities. So if we didn't want this particular chair, or we didn't want someone to serve in this space, you wouldn't even be on the Zoom call right now.
There you go. There you go, Jill. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I'm glad you had to, we actually, this is our first conversation. I tried connecting with you on LinkedIn. And you're right. And I know a lot of those leaders here within Arizona that you're speaking of. I think we're in the same communities, knowing people, not the LGBT,
Yeah.
but knowing the same people. So yes, thank you.
It's very important, Stan, for not just for you, but for other people within our community to understand that this Arizona NAACP, this administration fully intends on protecting its Black people. Yes, we're an organization who advocates for all oppressed and all marginalized communities, but we are centered around our Blackness. And our ethos is making sure that we are protecting the people that we need to protect. And so this particular EC that BP Miller and I have been able to put together, we don't play, right? So once you become a
That's
part of
right.
the team, you're a part of the family, and that's it. So if there are no other questions, Stan, I'm going to put you into the waiting room. We're going to take a vote, and then I will let you know how where we go from here.
Okay, and I'm going to say thank you, and I hope that you choose me to join the team, and I feel that I am qualified and will achieve the mission that this group has in mind. No
Thank
doubt.
you.
Have a
Thank you,
great day.
Stan.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, feedback.
All right.
I
Let
got
me,
two no's already.
yeah. Let me go first. So for me, I want it to be explained to Stan, if Stan is not selected, that this is not because of who Stan is as a person. Um, I have served in the East Valley as a vice president. I've served as a legal redress co-chair. I've served in the state conference for several years. And Stan does not really even have a fundamental working knowledge of what the NAACP is. So that's one thing. And then the second thing is, I think that they need to be attached to an actual branch and see the work throughout the state before they come here, because I think that we've had that issue before with having people on the ECU who didn't even know what their actual jobs were or what to do. And I think we would see this again in Stan. That's just my personal opinion. Stan may be a great individual, but I think in this space, we're trying to have skilled leaders in the state conference, and I don't see that. So I'm gonna be a hard no too.
Thank you. Does anybody else have feedback?
I'll jump in for a second. Oh,
Go ahead,
sorry.
Fallon.
Thank you. I'll jump in for a second. I feel like I don't know enough to make a vote. And then I also want to be protective of our space because we need workers and we need people that know enough to do the work. So I don't feel like I know enough about Stan's work to be able to vote today.
Thank you. Ms. Shawana?
I'm right in alignment. Unfortunately, I did not hear enough around even what they've done in their current organization. I think they said, "We are you." They're the founder of that organization. What is that work to be able to help us make even partially informed decision as to what they would do in this space? Great person. I just haven't heard enough.
Yeah, I think Stan's probably nervous tonight because when I had a chat with him last week, he was able to share more specifically what We Are You is, and it is collaborating or putting together the queer community with our heterosexual neighbors so that there is an understanding and an acceptance between the two communities. But I agree. I don't think that he was able to communicate that this evening. Does anybody else have feedback that they'd like to share?
I have a question, sir, before I
Yes,
vote.
ma'am.
Sir, it's a sir. I heard
I'm
you say it.
sorry.
Okay,
I'm
all right.
sorry.
How long has he been a part of the NAACP? Because you say he had been like a member for a long time, but I think he said that he just joined. So is it
Yeah. When I met him and his wife 2 weeks ago, I think, a week, I don't know, whenever it was, his wife told me that they were at-large members. And I looked them up in Salesforce today and they were not in our Salesforce. And he sent me a picture of his membership card and it looked like, I don't know, it looked
oh, okay?
old. So I thought that they had been members for quite some time, but in asking that today, it sounds like they've only been a member for a year.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Yes, sir. Sorry. Anybody else? Okay, let's take a vote. All those in favor of having Stan join as the LGBTQ committee chair, please say aye or raise your hand. All those opposed, say nay or raise your hand.
Nay.
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 Any abstentions? Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. Fallon will be abstaining.
I'm
abstaining.
also raising my hand, so I'm an abstention as well. Sorry to cut you off. Apologies.
Thank you, Lexi. So 2 abstentions from Lexi and Fallon, and the rest are opposed. Thank you, everybody. And I will let Stan know on the outside, and then Miss Gwen, I will let your guests in if you want to introduce them.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Allison and Allie, for joining. I truly apologize. I have a migraine and my blood pressure is up, so I'm gonna speak fast and let them go. We have the American Heart Association joining us tonight. This is a very special meeting for those that worked with Ebony.
Ebony was an integral part of the American Heart Association as she followed them through her untimely passing. And the two ladies that are on the line worked with Ebony very closely. What we're looking at from a health and wellness perspective for the NAACP are some of the initiatives, and it's policy, and it's about how we're working with our community. And so as we've been planning this in such a timely manner, Ebony's birthday is on Monday, but the walk is on March 29th. Ali and Allison will be sharing the benefits and giving us information on how important it is for our heart health in the African American community. And then we'll discuss what the walk will be like and the logistics for that, and us participating as an organization to honor Ebony during this time. So without further ado, I will give the floor over to Allison and Ali. Thank you guys so much for coming on and sharing with us. And welcome to our EC meeting.
Hi, good
Hi.
evening, everyone. Thank you so much for having us here this evening. Did you want me to share my screen with my slides, or
Yes, I
okay.
believe President Tyree
Okay.
is going to give you access to do that.
Okay, perfect.
But if you guys can introduce yourselves while we're waiting for her to grant you access if you don't have it already.
I think I do. Can you all see my screen?
Thank you.
Yeah. Awesome. Perfect. Well, thank you again, Gwen, for that really lovely introduction. My name is Ali, and I'm with the American Heart Association. My colleague on the call is Allison. And we're really truly honored to be here tonight to share with all of you a little bit about our mission and vision, how to build your own heart health, and how to advocate for yourself and your community through the Phoenix Heart Walk. Ebony truly was a valued volunteer and advocate for the American Heart Association. I personally got to meet her and hear her story, see her walk in our Survivor Strut fashion show at the Phoenix Go Red for Women luncheon in May of 2024. And she's deeply missed by all of us that worked with her here at the AHA. And when Gwen reached out asking to do something in honor of her, we were really proud to do so. So thank you for giving us the opportunity to share a little bit with you. And yeah, looking forward to walking alongside all of you in March on the 29th. So without further ado, just a little bit about the mission of the American Heart Association. We are a 100-year-old organization. We celebrated this milestone back in June of last year. We were started in 1924 by 6 cardiologists who knew that something had to be done about educating the community on the importance of taking control of your own heart health. And 100 years later, we are the nation's largest and oldest voluntary health organization that's dedicated to fighting heart disease and stroke. And over these 100 years that we have been around, we have funded over $5 billion worth of research, second only to the federal government, numerous Nobel Prize winners, and really had a hand in nearly every major breakthrough when it comes to treating heart disease and stroke. So everything from pacemakers to the first heart transplant, CPR techniques, stroke treatment drugs, and so much more. But the AHA is not only, funding research. That's a big part of what we do, but we're also present in each and every local community, advocating on the importance of education and prevention, teaching CPR, working with healthcare professionals. And a big part of what we do is also advocacy. And as we enter into this second century of impact, our vision statement that we've newly released is advancing health and hope for everyone, everywhere. And this really informs all of the work that we do in the community. And we've also set an impact goal for ourselves for the next phase of our work and our impact. And we have 4 measurement areas that we are really working on when it comes to our work in the community. So the first one is access to care, and that's not just making sure there's doctors' offices and clinics and hospitals, but making sure that people have access to health insurance and so much more. We also focus on quality of care. So if you have a heart attack, say in Yuma, Arizona, or in Greater Phoenix, you are receiving that same quality of care no matter where you are. We are also focusing on the factors that affect your health and that's the social determinants of health, because we know that race and place often has a bigger impact on your health than doctor's visits. And then, of course, CPR. 9 out of 10 people that suffer from cardiac arrest outside of the hospital do not survive. And so the AHA has set a really lofty goal to train one person in every household in hands-only CPR by the year 2030. And by participating in Heart Walk, all of you are going to have the opportunity to learn it and then pass it on to your family and friends and help us create a nation of lifesavers together. When it comes to our work in Greater Phoenix specifically, we have 3 main priorities that we're working on. The first one is blood pressure control. We know that 1 in 3 adults are reported to have a high blood pressure, but the number is actually probably much closer to 1 in 2. Now, we refer to high blood pressure as the silent killer because it is what leads to heart attacks and strokes and negative health events. And so by working with federally qualified healthcare centers and clinics throughout Greater Phoenix, we are really helping to provide those resources, that education for people to control their blood pressure. We also work on food insecurity. 1 in 4 children in Maricopa County live under the poverty line. That's the 5th highest rate in the country. And we know it's not enough to just tell people that they need to eat healthy. We have to make sure that people have access to those healthy foods and know how to eat that, know how important it is to incorporate them into their diet. So with the support of our community, we are increasing access to healthy foods. We have food insecurity screenings and so much more. And then our third way we are impacting the Greater Phoenix community is through eliminating tobacco. The rates are 1 in 5 teens are current smokers. That's up from years ago where it was closer to 1 in 20. Most of those teens are using vape and e-cigarette products. And this is where a lot of our advocacy work comes in. We are working at the state and local levels to pass laws such as the tobacco retail license to really help these teens that are starting their addiction young. So with that, we know it's important to build these heart healthy lifestyles. We know the why. It's for ourselves, it's for our families, it's for our communities, but not everyone knows the how. And so we have this really amazing program. We call it Life's Essential 8, and I'm going to pass it off to Allison so she can just share a little bit with all of you on how we talk about leading healthy lifestyles.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ali. And thank you all so much for allowing us to be here and speak to you about the AHA. And of course, that I'm going to speak about is Life's Essential 8. So the AHA decided that we needed a way to try to simplify cardiovascular health so people can better understand and manage it. So the Life's Essential 8 identifies the 8 most important factors for cardiovascular health, which involve 4 health behaviors and then 4 health factors. So the health behaviors are things that we can control in our lives, and our health factors are things that we work with our doctor to understand our numbers so that we can make better choices as well. Perfect. So improving Life's Essential 8 can improve our overall well-being. So I think we've all heard the mind, body, and heart are all connected, and factors that affect one can affect the other, so positively or negatively. And improving Life's Essential 8 isn't just good for your health, it's good for your overall health and well-being. So when we take care of our body, our mind gets healthier. When we take care of our mind, our heart gets healthier. It's all interconnected and it's all important and vital to live longer and healthier lives. So the first are the 4 key factors. Then, as I mentioned, that this is something we speak to our doctors about to be able to understand our numbers. And so that involves blood pressure, our blood lipids, which are our cholesterol levels, maintaining a healthy body weight, and then, of course, our blood sugar. So these are tests that typically when we go to our primary care doctor, these are aspects that they bring up in our health reports. And it starts with that, understanding where we're at so we can improve from there. Oh, and then we go to our key health behaviors. And these are things within our daily lives that we can control. So that first starts with not smoking or vaping. As Ali mentioned, tobacco is one of the Arizona's priorities that we are focusing on in order to decrease heart disease and increase heart health awareness. And benefits of quitting smoking include 1 year after quitting smoking, your risk of heart disease decreases by half. That's just after 1 year. Your sense of smell and taste will improve so we can enjoy our delicious dinners with our loved ones. And of course, it increases your chance of living longer. And then of course we have adequate sleep and good sleep, right? Getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night. And improving your sleep can lower your risk of type 2 diabetes, strengthen your immune system, cold and flu season. We always need that, right? Improve your energy and actually make you more creative as well. And of course, following a healthy diet, the AHA recommends adhering to a DASH diet, which is low sodium, or I think we've all heard the Mediterranean diet, which is really rich in legumes, lean protein, and leafy greens. Improving your diet can reduce your risk of heart disease and stroke. And healthy food can keep depression at bay. And that's because fruits and veggies are actually linked to higher levels of happiness. And it all goes back to the mind-body connection, right? And then we also have physical activity. So we recommend 150 minutes more of moderate aerobic activity or 75 minutes of vigorous activity per week. Physical activity floods our brains with those feel-good chemicals and improves our mood. It improves our immune system, can lower blood pressure, and help us control our blood sugar as well. It also helps improve our sleep. And this is why we're seeing the essential 8 as a circle, right? It is all connected to our mind, body, and heart health. And as we said, it's a circle. You can start a positive chain reaction. So better sleep can lead to healthier food choices, and those healthier food choices can give you energy to move more. And physical activity lowers your stress and makes it easier to quit nicotine. And so it's all connected, and it's all vital as to how we live longer and healthier lives.
Thanks, Allison. So how can you take those first steps to lead that heart healthy lifestyle? We hope you'll do that by coming out to the 2025 Phoenix Heart Walk. It's an amazing community event. Last year, we welcomed over 25,000 community members out to walk with us. It's family friendly. People of all ages are welcome. It's pet friendly, so you can bring out your leashed pets. Strollers, bikes, wagons, scooters. It truly is just a great community event. When you spend the morning with us and get inspired. We will have a 3-mile path and a 1-mile path, so you can choose whatever works for you, and it's non-competitive. It's super casual. We'll kick it off with a festival in the morning where you can learn hands-on CPR. We have a free farmers market. We call it the Nutrition Pavilion, where you can pick up some fresh produce. That's available to all of our walkers. We have kids zone stops, we'll have music and lots of fun. So we hope you'll all come out and walk with us. Next slide. And of course, raise those life-saving funds. When you're out walking with 25,000 community members who are all connected to the same mission, it really is so inspiring. It can help you take that first step in your own heart health journey, and of course, gives you an opportunity for healing, for honoring survivors in your life, and remembering those loved ones we've lost to heart disease and stroke. So the next slide here is a video of our event from 2022. For those of you who haven't been there, it's a quick minute-long video. All right. Well, I hope you guys are inspired to come alongside us and be a part of the Heart Walk, of course. As you know, we are doing this in honor of Ebony, loving mother, daughter, sister, and friend. And I'd love to open it up to anyone from your team who'd like to share a few words about Ebony and your why.
This is Shawana. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you for your presentation. Uh, I was not expecting to have the opportunity to say a few words about Ebony, but I've known Ebony for, my gosh, probably about 10 or so years prior to NAACP. She and I worked at the same organization together, and my God, I mean, my heart is just kind of racing a little bit because I'm just talking about, and anybody who knows her, just a beautiful, beautiful soul, just a beautiful soul, and just a person who is so sincere. What you see is really what you get. Um, I have appreciated having the opportunity to work with her across so many different spaces, be they at our employer, be they in the NAACP, and the commitments, the passion, the sense of urgency. Um, I will forever miss her. Hey, Queen, I still have her voicemail, the last voicemail that she left me. And I just miss her so. And thank you so much for honoring her in this way.
Thank you for sharing.
Well, I guess I'll go next. Um, I did meet Ebony through the NAACP. We served at the West Valley together. Um, but even outside of that, she was just like such a human. She was just a human, right? And I say that because like in crazy times where people forget that they're human, and she was never that. She always just had like a heart full of love. And when I opened the boutique, she was one of the first people to come through the door and help celebrate me and the space. Um, and I think it was probably 2 days before she passed that I had last talked to her. So, and I think that there are a few folks on this call actually who had probably also spoken to her like that same night. So, um, I appreciate so much that you all are honoring Miss Ebony in a way that would make her heart happy and her kiddos happy. Um, and just, just thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
I will go next. I had the pleasure of meeting Ebony through her sons. She brought her sons to the West Valley Youth and the NAACP Youth Council, and those two gentlemen were incredible and full of life, and I see where they got it from. Um, Ebony, I don't know when she had time to sleep. I don't know when she had time to make all the connections that she made, but who she was just in her kids' life for the NAACP, even just with me sitting down at dinner or in a room full of people. I said to her a little bit, maybe a few days before her passing, like, you're everything I want to be when I grow up, because she is that incredible. She is that amazing of a woman, just genuine. And what's a good word? It was really difficult to see, at her funeral that that I personally, I felt like there was just so much that she was about to do and so much still left on the table because she was so young. And that was really hard for me. But I guess what made it okay, or I can't even say the word okay, but just all the amazing organizations that were in the room supporting her, all the incredible people that were affected by her life positively, that had so many amazing things to just say about her. And I was like, man, this is what a juggernaut in the community really looks like. this is what it looks like. And I'm still not, okay. I've been in a couple spaces where she's honored, and I'm sure she will continue to be for a long time, but I can't say that I'm okay with the fact that she's even not here, because I can't, I don't know how to materialize that yet. But she's incredible, and I couldn't just not say anything, because she deserves all the amazing words and all the flowers all the time. So I appreciate you guys for carrying on her name, her legacy, and who she was, and bringing her up in these type of spaces.
Thanks so much for sharing. Ebony truly is our why. As I shared at the top of the presentation, she was such a valued volunteer and advocate for the AHA. And just one personal anecdote for myself, of an interaction that I had with Ebony right before the Go Red for Women luncheon started, in May of last year. Everyone had pretty much made their way inside, and she was checking in a couple of her family members that were there to support her, and just looking absolutely beautiful in her dress. But she was kind of like wringing her hands, and a family member walked up to her, and he said, "Are you nervous, baby?" And she said, "Yeah, a little." And he said, "Don't worry, you're going to do amazing." And they hugged. And I just remember being really touched by that, just seeing the love that they had for each other and the support. And it just stuck with me. And I still think about it to this day. And I know we truly lost a good one in her, but her memory certainly lives on. And we're really happy to be able to provide this opportunity of healing for everybody to come be a part of the Heart Walk. So I hope we will see all of you out there on March 29th. And the walk isn't just one day a year. What the American Heart Association tries to do is to work with organizations and companies year round to make sure that we're really focusing, on creating healthier communities. And so right now, you all can take part in our Move More challenge. If you're interested in getting your physical activity up, we have that launched right now. We have a leaderboard on our website, and it's really encouraging everyone to get that 150 minutes of exercise per week. The top moving company or organization will receive a trophy at Heart Walk. We also have our Heart Walk Wednesdays. It's some messaging that you'll receive every Wednesday that's focused on physical activity, and also some fundraising, of course, to help fund our mission. The week of Heart Walk, we call the week of wellness. So they receive messaging each and every day that week that helps exercise your mind, body, and spirit. And then, of course, come out and celebrate with us on March 29th. As Gwen mentioned at the top of my presentation, we have set up a landing page. It's called Ebony's Grace. And that is for any organization, family member, friend that wants to form a team in honor of Ebony. We do have a team set up for all of you. You can scan that QR code or visit the URL on the screen. We'll send out this information after the call. You can absolutely have these slides, Sarah, of course. So you can share with the wider group. But registration is really easy. It's free to register. There's no registration fee. The walk is free and open to everyone. Of course, we do encourage fundraising to help fund our mission, but it's not required. And then, of course, please share it with your family and friends. Like I said, it's open to all ages and truly is a great family-friendly event. Of course, just a quick shout out to our sponsors. And then if you have any questions, want to learn more about the AHA, please feel free to reach out to me, ali.routier@heart.org. And that's the end of my slides for this evening. Thank you, Allison, for joining me. I'm happy to answer any questions that you guys may have, and just really thank you again for the opportunity. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for coming. We truly appreciate it. It's a true moment of healing for all of, for all that are involved and all of us who truly loved Ebony. As we move forward and we talk about continuing the work, I know that we're still working towards some mental health bills and some things like that. We will have another conversation with you all aside of that on helping us and sponsoring some of the other initiatives that we're doing. on behalf of the NAACP. This is just a start of building that relationship, which is very important. I was also wondering if we can have a vendor table out at the event. We can also talk about that offline too. We like for everyone to know about the NAACP and all the great things that we're doing as well, inclusive of the health and wellness and fitness. There are so many other things that we can talk about and partner with. So I can talk to you guys offline about that, and looking at as far as we can go as national partnerships. We talked about that briefly and what that entails, and that'll be talked about amongst the president, madam president, and vice presidents and things like that. But thank you so much for coming and providing this information to us. We do have one team for the Arizona NAACP. We felt like it would be easier for all the branches to come under one umbrella for that. So it'll be, easier for the American Heart Association, and how it will impact our organization as a whole. I don't have anything else. Madam President, Vice President, do you guys have anything you'd like to add?
Nothing to add. I know you'll have offline conversations, but ladies, thank you so much for joining us this evening. Apologize for the little bit of extra weight you had to have there, but we greatly appreciate you coming to talk with us this evening, and also really just supporting the NAACP and our community. So thank you.
Of course. Thank you guys so much. Looking forward to continuing the conversation. Please reach out, and looking forward to seeing all of you on March 29th.
Thank you all so much. It was an honor to be here.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Night. Okay. Does anybody have anything that they want to share or they want to touch base on with the group before we adjourn this evening? Any updates you want to give?
Madam President, how you doing?
Yes, ma'am.
I wanted to say I was really glad I was able to get in touch with Mr. Glover. I had tried to call him previously, and he hadn't returned my call. So I tried him again on Saturday, and thank goodness I was able to reach him. And he was a little disheartened, just with the current climate in the country, and wanting to get his veterans benefits or receive some help to receive his veterans benefits. And we talked for a while, and I was able to just let him know that even though, some of the persons in these agencies, they may not look like us, but we are all veterans at heart. And they really are there to provide a service and to help. And so I gave him a list of about 4 or 5 organizations that he could reach out to that are accredited, that can help him apply for his veterans benefits. And so that request was completed. And then Ashley's Place was such a great event, and it really felt good because one of the ladies reached out to me afterwards. She contacted me through our NAACP email, veterans inbox, and she needed help with legal services for employment matters. And she's homeless right now, living in the Ashley's Place, and of course, trying to obtain employment is important right now as she's trying to stabilize. And so I was able to come up with a list of veteran legal services that offer pro bono work, that offer, just a legal guidance and advice. And I gave her a list of 4 or 5 different services that she could contact that would provide her with free services. I CC'd yourself and VP Miller on both of those responses. And right now, I'm trying to get back with U.S. Vets so I can work on hopefully my second event. They wanted me to come out and speak to their male veterans. And I'm hoping to partner with the Veterans Courts in Phoenix to see if I could have them speak as well at that event and kind of explain to the male veterans what services those veteran courts provide. So that's what's in the making right now. We'll see how it goes. But that was my latest update. Thank you.
Miss Deja, thank you for that. I did have the interns update the case tracker with Mr. Glover's information and the things that you were able to help him with, and also ask them to put those veteran resources that you shared with us into the communal resource document as well, so that all of the branches have access to that information. So thank you for gathering those pieces for us. And then also, we do have a lawyer referrals document, because we're supposed to share multiple lawyers, not just one or two. So if you want, you should have access to add those VSOs,
Okay.
or the veteran lawyers that do the work. You should be able to add them to that document. And if you can't, just let me know and I'll
Well,
fix the edit.
I have Nicole's email, so if there's some more information that you'd like to provide, I can always send her a second email with some additional references. But I think in the first email I sent her, I had about 4 or 5 different services that she could use.
Okay. Okay. And that's whatever you think is fine. I was just sharing, like, if in the future, if you come across anybody else who needs lawyers, we do have a lawyer referral document and we just give them those. But
Yeah, that's
that's,
perfect.
yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Miss Fallon.
I apologize for my ignorance in advance, because I'm unsure of if when we have someone that approaches us with an injustice that they want to share and speak with the legal redress committee, is it a Google form that we fill out to get it in their eyes, or a spreadsheet? We just fill out the line items on the spreadsheet, or do we send the email?
So if you're the person that's handling the case, so like in Miss Deja's case, she's the one that handled Mr. Glover's case or Miss Nicole's case, she would put that information in there. For you, because it's unlikely that you're gonna have youth that have issues, but if you do, you have access to the state conference. So in the tracker, there are tabs at the bottom for each of the branches and the units, and the state has one as well. So if you do have any youth that have issues, you can put them in there. Otherwise, if someone just says like, hey, I need a resource, and they need to talk to legal redress, just give them Lexi's email, which is legalredress@AZNAACP.org, and she'll do the things that she needs to do.
Okay, that's perfect. Then that's what I'll do, because I've had a few adults bring up a few things. So I'll just connect them with Alexi on email. Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Anybody else have updates or questions? Right. We're getting ready for convention. Convention is in North Carolina this year in July. I think it's mid-July, the 12th through the 18th, I think. As of today, I believe that we have 6 adult branches that have been fully approved with everything, AFRs and their membership, and Fallon was kicking ass and taking names the last couple of weeks, getting the youth in college together. And I think you said 9 by the end of March,
Yes, ma'am.
ma'am. It ain't never been done. So thank you. Thank you.
No problem.
Outside of that, we have three interns right now, 2 social workers, 1 communications intern. And then we should be bringing on another a master's level social worker right before summer starts. And we're working on building relationships with NAU, U of A, and GCU as well. So if you know anybody who's looking for internships, we got all the opportunities for them. And Miss Nadia, do you have something to share?
I would love to meet with the interns, as I think we tried to have we meet with them before. If there's an opportunity, it would be amazing. And this past month, I participated in clearly a lot of activities that had to do with Black History Month, which is actually Black History / Black History Year. But I hosted a couple myself too, and I know some of you were trying to attend but hopefully we'll have more, and you'll be able to attend. So I would love to talk with you about in private about some of the work that I'd like to do. So to better, to better help with my position.
Okay. We can, you, me, and Andre find some time that works for the three of us, and we can get together and plan that out.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Nadia. Anybody else? Going once, going twice. Thank you so much for all the work that you all continue to do day in and day out. It can be, it's not always, but it can be thankless. So please know that I and Andre both appreciate all the work and all the time and effort that you're putting into any of the things that you're working on, whether it's the youth, whether it's the adults, whether it's the community as a whole. Just thank you for the work that you're doing. And if you need me, let me know. But may I get a motion to adjourn, please?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
A
May I get a
second.
second? Thank you, Ms. Shawana. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you so much. Good night.